basis of this is, why are there pyramids found all the way around the world? Well, it's true, pyramids have been found worldwide. There's not, from Alaska to Antarctica, and on all 7 continents. And the caller that asked this question asked, why? What is the real purpose of pyramids? Well, it was not for burial chambers. They were not started as burial chambers. Although some were used eventually for that. Some were used as resurrection chambers. The dead could be put in there, and the next day you come back and you release them and they were raised up from the dead. Some were healing sites. They vibrate at key healing frequencies, and the body responds and is healed. Some were translation portals. It is believed, like the Great Pyramid in Egypt is a translation portal. It will take you to one of the planets in Orion's belt. And some of the holes are pointing at these different star groupings, that what they called the King's Chamber, but it was not the King's Chamber. Nobody was ever buried there. It has no name on the pyramid, no writing on it. And that was never the purpose of all the pyramids. Now, to really understand pyramids, we must look at the real age of them, the materials they were made of. There's one group of pyramids in Bosnia that is made of cement that is between 85,000 and 90,000 years old. Which one of you did it? Oh, none of you that old? Oh. Well, also their heights were important. Their location on the ley lines on the earth was very important. And their location to fault lines was extremely important. Also, some are placed on or near great underground chambers. Now, a chamber is something that was hewn out. A cavern is a natural formation. Some of them are right close to these huge caverns, and some by cisterns, which is water reserves. And they're huge. So it changes the function of what that pyramid is going to do as to what it's next to. Just like you can have a house, a home there, and the function of each room changes as to what you go to do in it. It changes the function into that room. You notice you don't go to use the kitchen as a bathroom.
We've discovered that.
Well, pyramids are like that too. They have their unique usages. And they are found in groups. Sometimes a single pyramid is there, and then far off you'll see a 3, a 6, a 9, and a 20, and then 27 in the outer ring. And it's also interesting to note that none of the pyramids have been built over dead zones where the aluminum-26 is. And those, that they are like somebody manufactured energy cell transistor that takes the Earth's gravity and magnetic field, builds up a charge to stop the Earth's engine. That's what they're for. That's why they're called dead zones. And if you happen to be living on or near one, you happen to go insane very quickly, or die quickly as your body goes dysfunctional. Now, the biggest pyramids are found in Bosnia, Alaska, and Antarctica. And they are also the oldest. And they were the most powerful of all the pyramids. The Bosnia Pyramid was made about 85,000 years ago. And they were made of cement blocks, of a cement that would be the 30,000 grade cement. The sidewalks up front are 2,000 out from the city. This was built to last and withstand great hits of power. In Antarctica, they're said to be between 65 and 70,000 years old. Alaska is said to be about 40,000 years old. But they don't know for sure on the one in Alaska. There is no carbon footprint around it. And it has a lot of things in it that makes it a very unique issue. It apparently has withstood an ice age with about 2 miles of ice on top of it and no damage to it. And it survived the Great Flood. There's evidence of that. Although the US government has declared this a top secret military base now, it's way out in the middle of nowhere. I think it's close to about 300 miles to the nearest trapper settlement, cabin. It has one of the highest defenses in North America. Now, why would you put that around a pyramid that you're calling a military base? It is said to have controlled and powered the ancient Siberian asteroid meteor comet defense repulsion system or destruction system. And when asteroid hit over Russia here a couple of years ago, everything in the pyramid lit up just before it was destroyed. Was that a coincidence? Or is there a connection? And it is said to have a great amount of ancient alien technology in it. And because it exists there, they're really hesitant of even touching it or trying to take it, deactivate it, because it has a type of phase or phasic shielding in it and over it. Another large and very interesting pyramid exists in northeast India. It appears as a shaped mountain where a mountain has been carved away to look like a pyramid. And all the dimensions are right, is the same thing that you would have in the Great Pyramid or the South American pyramids. Everything fits together. The materials that it was constructed in, okay, the base of this mountain, have all the setting points that you would need for a communication transmitter. It's made of rock, but all the rocks have been made into a certain type of crystalline form by some unknown method, but they're all shaped and positioned the way that you would have a transmitter. And what the engineer said is any added nuclear power to this mountain would allow the Hertz frequency to change that it's giving off. And he believes that it would open wormholes and possibly even transmat areas to be used from that site, so that you could transmat in from any other galaxy or area in the galaxy to that particular mountain. Evidence exists that a great nuclear explosion took place there about 12,600 years BC. So, said it's an interesting one, but it's not the these ones are not the average. Then we have the inverted pyramid in the center of Australia. Now, this one, according to the Aborigines, was planted there. It was sent from space and drove into the center. I forget the name of the mountain, Mesa.
It was Ayers Rock, wasn't it? One there?
What's this?
Near Ayers Rock.
Ayers Rock is what it is, but it's an inverted pyramid. And they say that it was sent onto that area that became Australia. It broke it away from the main continent of Mu. Mu shifted it just before the continent of Mu broke up and the majority of it sunk. And they said it was sunk by the Atlanteans. It is said to have come from the Pleiades star system as a Genesis ark. Both the Aborigines and the ancient Egyptians seem to agree that this is an absolute truth to them. That that's what happened on this particular rock that came from space, a pyramid that was driven into the earth in this exact center of Australia in such a way that there's no rock like it in Australia. Where did it come from? Quite a witness. Now, these are the exceptional pyramids that we just talked about. But what about all the pyramids built in the last 20,000 years? Their location above and below water seems to be very important. You know, they've discovered as many pyramids below the water as they have above. ground. How did they get built? And supposedly they were made with ancient Neanderthals with stone tools. And the sides of these things are more highly polished than we can get glass today. Yeah? Now how do they do that with stone tools? Somebody's off the rocker, if you ask me. Anyway. They are mostly found on Earth's ley lines. Now these are points in which energy translates from one point to another on Earth and bounces over. They generate certain Hertz frequencies that is unique to each one. They communicate with Earth's engine core for magnetic shielding. The shielding gets stronger in advance of solar storms, cosmic ray waves coming, major attacks of that, or gamma radiation that comes in high resolution formation. The energy released by these pyramids increases upward and downward at least 4 hours before a solar storm will strike Earth. All of them? Worldwide? And this is a coincidence? Wow. I often wonder where people's common sense went, especially once they get a PhD or some sort of doctorate. They seem to lose common sense of reality, what's going on and what they're saying. The Earth reacts like a living immune system defense is being produced because it goes into this hyper defense mode. And the magnetic fields increase tremendously in strength just by the time the thing's about to hit. But how do they know this 4 hours to get activated, 4 hours in advance of a solar strike? How? You know? But they're doing it. And all of them have certain crystalline rock built into them.
Are these the ones both above and below?
Above and below ground.
Yeah, okay, because we talked about the one below.
Except for the one that's near Bermuda, that's a emerald pyramid. It has an emerald coloring sheath put over it. It does something strange, we don't know. There's things just happen around it. It's not related to anything else. You know, just like our body makes goosebumps to warn us of fearful things, cold coming at us, or even demonic presences. We'll sometimes get goosebumps and we don't understand why, but that's a defense system that's already built in. Pyramids seem to be placed as warning receptors for the Earth worldwide. Can't sneak up on it from any direction. It's automatically connected to the center flow. And it reacts. The magnetic engine of the Earth reacts. The vast majority of older of these pyramids are older than man's 6,000 years upon the planet. So who built them? Were they made to defend the planet for the coming of mankind? Were they pre-planned and pre-planted for that defense to run? We invite you to view other YouTubes on our Galaxy Time Wars channel. So research and enjoy.